So, you mentioned as far as taking kind of like the the full stack approach, right? And kind of being end to end with multiple kind of products and kind of business lines now. I think one of the topics that comes up here in the community a lot with founders is, if as far as like the starting point for that, right? And then thinking about like how you sequence into kind of launching new products or services or expansion. If you kind of like look back now, how have you kind of thought about that with Roofstock?
I would say for us, it's always been driven by the customer and what the customer has been asking for. And so we had the idea that perhaps uh, instead of just being on the sell side and selling homes and portfolios of homes, that people would value our services to buy homes because we had the capability to do that. And we didn't know how to do it. I mean, we knew how to buy the homes, but we didn't know how to necessarily attract the customers. We just started talking to potential investors. And there was a lot of interest, but they said, hey, but if you're going to do this, you need to manage the homes because we don't want to give it to some local property manager. So we didn't have a management company. So we said, okay, if we buy a property manager, we can then secure capital to invest through our platform. And then we took a relatively low tech property manager that was managing for just one owner and turned it into a more tech-driven property manager that could manage for multiple owners. And so we start rather than starting from scratch there, we said, okay, well, let's go fill this gap. And so when we think about M&A, it's, what services could we either build or buy? That was one. We bought a couple property managers to get scale there. And so, that's how I think we've done it is said, what are customers asking for? Can we deliver it? And then we're also, constantly trying to experiment too with how do we squeeze as much friction out of the transactions as possible. And I don't know if some of you might have seen, a few months ago, we tokenized our first home on blockchain. And, so that's been a very, very cool experiment. We've done 3 homes so far. They're on the Ethereum blockchain. They were purchased essentially with one click with financing in place. So when we think about the future of home trades, so in fact, I've got a call later today with about 30 people from Fannie Mae who read about our program and want to understand if there's a way that they could provide financing for tokens, which would be a huge unlock, right? Because it's actually a great democratizer. If you can have frictionless transactions and stapled financing that goes along with houses, you could really increase liquidity and increase accessibility for people to be able to buy these tokens because you could buy them with a loan in place, $200,000 house, maybe you could buy it with 40 grand. And anyway, so my point is, we're continuing to look at, because what customers are saying is real estate's a pain in the ass. There's still fees are too high. It takes too long. There's lacks transparency. I hate using agents all the time. God, it's hard to get a loan. So we got to listen to all of these complaints and said, okay, well, can we design a solution? And in this particular case, we said, yeah, if we could create an NFT that owns a home, and it solves a lot of those problems. And so those are the kind of things we continue to work on. That's pretty exciting. And that could very well be the future of the marketplace. In 2 years, we very well could have a robust marketplace of real estate NFTs that trade. And then that helps you, interestingly, you sort of get around all of the existing regulatory muck around selling homes. Now, not that there aren't regulatory challenges to NFTs, there clearly are. But if you do it as a security, those are tried and true known laws. The way that we've structured our NFT, it's actually not a security. So we're at this unique spot where we might have found kind of this really unicorn structure that could really work well. Anyway, so we're working on those things, but those are the kind of things that I think are just kind of fun to think about. And again, just listening to the challenges customers have and try to solve those.